Hello and welcome to the Mix 6 podcast with me, your host, Tom Pinks, as part of The Mix, the UK's leading digital support service for under 25s. We are in very, very good company for this episode, and I'm very excited to dive in for a chat with Miss Lou Northcote. Hello.
Hello. I'm very excited to chat to you as well. Thank you so much for having me.
You're more than welcome. We are entirely grateful. I would like to give the first part over to you. And for those that don't know you yet, how would you describe yourself?
So I guess I like to state myself as a activist. And by that I mean is basically I started a movement, which obviously we're going to get into. My history dates back that I was a model growing up from a very young age. I started modeling when I was 10. And then I got severe cystic acne when I was around like 15, 16. And then I actually lost my modeling career because of it. So something I'd done for 6 years suddenly went out the window. And as you know, it's a very brutal industry that does so many different things to your mental health, your image, etc. And I lost the thing I loved. And I decided to speak out about acne because obviously so many people deal with it, but it was a subject that didn't really get spoken about. So I guess me speaking about it took traction, and I created a hashtag called #FreeThePimple, and we created a whole community online who speaks about real skin, acne. We bring awareness, skincare, etc. So it's kind of evolved into this whole talking point of skin, which I just think is good. We don't learn about it at school, but we all suffer with it at certain points in our life.
And I just want to say, I think it's a phenomenal story, which we'll unpack a little bit later. But thank you for that, Lou. We're going to kick things off with the quick fire 6. So these are 6 very snappy questions to let the listener get to know a bit more about you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Just a disclaimer, some of it's nonsense, but go along with it, okay?
Good.
Okay, the quick fire 6. Question 1, books or movies?
Ooh, movies. I only started reading a book again for the first time on holiday literally the other day, but I'm reading again, but yeah, movies.
Question number 2, Halloween or Christmas?
Christmas. My birthday's a week before Christmas, so it's like everyone
There we go.
gets ready for my birthday.
I always find that it's either a blessing or a curse, isn't it? Having both your birthday and Christmas at the same time. But it looks like you're here for it.
Yeah, very much so.
Question number 3, staycation or vacation?
Vacation. I've been to 8 different places this year already. So.
Wow. Okay, you're not messing around.
I love hunting.
No. Question number 4, favourite sound?
Ooh, that's a question. Oh, this is quite an interesting one. I grew up in Dubai. That's my hometown. So the morning called prayer mosque sound just reminds me of growing up. It's an amazing sound when you hear it. It's very like beautiful. It's singing, and yeah, I think all of us Dubai kids will say that it just like reminds you of home.
I went away a couple of weeks ago, and there's a church that rang a bell every hour and half hour, and I sort of lived my life by it. I knew what time it was. I knew what time it was to get up. Was that the same for you in Dubai?
Yeah. It was like a big thing in the morning. You knew what time it was. Yeah.
You just hear the prayers and be, oh, I'm late. I need to get out. Question number 5. Here comes the nonsense. Would you rather wear wet socks for the rest of your life or no socks at all?
No socks at all. I don't wear shoes around the house and get told off, so I'm happy barefoot.
Okay. It sounds like you prepared for that question already. You've been asked it before. And then finally, the big one, question number 6, pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
Yeah.
Okay, it didn't even blink.
No, yes. It's actually my friend who I live with, her favourite pizza is Hawaiian. So we've had many a night. We live near a pizza place where she will go get some Hawaiian pizza.
Well, that was a quick fire six. Thank you so much, Lou. We're going to dive into what you're here for today. We have, as per the Mix Six, six questions designed around you and what you represent and what you're here to chat about today. Question number one is, what is hashtag free the pimple?
So hashtag free the pimple is a hashtag I created. Now it was about 2017, so 7 years ago. And the reason why I created a hashtag was it was during the time where body positivity and hashtags were kind of going quite viral on Instagram. As I mentioned, lost my modeling career, had severe cystic acne. No one in my life actually had acne, my friends, my family, so I felt very alone. Even though I knew 80% of people in their lifetime are actually going to be affected by their skin, I was like, where's all the people with skin like me? I didn't see them obviously in movies, magazines, books, literally anywhere. And I got to the point where it's just like I felt really alone and was like, I don't know what to do with my skin. I don't know like what questions to ask, who to ask questions. Like I guess Google was my best friend, but as you know, Google can come up with some random things to put on your face that you just don't know. So I thought, okay, maybe if I put a picture on social media, there'll be one person who would see it and has gone through the same as me, and they could maybe like speak to me. We could talk about it, get some advice, etc. And I created a hashtag, as I said, because it kind of can reach anyone. You can get all over the world. So I did. I posted like a makeup-free selfie, spoke out about my skin, created the hashtag, and now it's got something like 40,000, 50,000 posts on the hashtag. So it obviously catapulted from there. I genuinely thought no one would see it, but they did. And it was, as I said, I'm not the only person who has acne. I just always make a joke. I'm like, I didn't invent it. I just spoke about it because no one had really delved into it. It's something I think, unfortunately, you're told it's like bad, ugly, dirty, wrong. You should hide it. You shouldn't talk about it. Like, you know, you should like, even if you have one spot, keep it hidden. And then I was like, well, no, because I didn't ask for this. I, didn't do something to get this, and it shouldn't be a detriment to me. And we should speak about it because no one does. And the hashtag just meant it could reach a community so wide. I was then very lucky. I did a whole documentary with ID magazine, which then kind of catapulted it even more. So I suddenly was in press all over the world. I was in Japan. I did Teen Vogue. I was like everywhere. And the only reason why I think it catapulted so much, again, as I said, is people just weren't speaking about it. Like, we all knew what it is and it exists for years, but someone just needed that confidence to just speak about it online. And I said, I now have, you can search it, and I love that it's bigger than me. That's like kind of the whole point. It isn't just about me, it's now a whole community. And there's so many different people sharing their own skin journeys and their own acne and their own things that they've gone through. And we all kind of relate in different ways. They've created their own little sub communities. And it's just kind of like gone so much wider. And that's what I love about it. It isn't just about me. It was the subject that I wanted to get somewhere, and luckily it did, and it's gone way further afield than I actually ever thought. But yeah, you can start a whole movement just by with the hashtag.
You're big in Japan. What more do you need?
Honestly, it was so crazy when I saw my face in all these different publications, obviously in like loads of different languages, and then I was being contacted by, I said, like Teen Vogue, Telegraph, and it was just fascinating.
Question number two. Why do you think so many people around the world resonate with hashtag free the pimple? And what do you think made it so powerful?
I think the craziest thing is that people don't understand the statistics. As I said, for me, I loved really delving into understanding more about skin, and I've been very lucky to obviously speak to skin specialists and all the dermatologists. And 80% of people in their life will suffer with their skin. That doesn't mean every single person's going to get full-on cystic acne, but if you think about it, not one person that you know has never had at least a spot. A spot, a few spots. Everyone will deal with their skin. And I think because of that, you realize actually every single person can relate to the subject one way or another, because they've had those moments where they've had spots suddenly, or a spot, or their skin's completely changed, they don't know what to do, or they want to hide it, or it's affected their self-esteem. Like, all ages, all genders, it's just a part of being human. But we were so conditioned to be told like it's wrong that we didn't speak about it. And I think it just made people go, yeah, that's so true. I've had that. I feel the same. Like, my mum's had it, my sister's had it, my cousin's had it, my brother's had it. Suddenly people were saying to me like, yeah, my sister also went through this, and yeah, my brother. So I think you forget that it actually affects every single person. So we all can relate to it in a certain type of way.
It's almost as if, free the pimple. It does what it says on the tin, but then at the same time, you're freeing people. You're freeing back conversation, normalizing the topic. Because as you said, I had really bad acne growing up, and just felt embarrassed. And some people at school had it worse than others. I was in sort of the worst category. But yeah, I don't even remember talking about it to anybody, and I just kept it up. And I feel like it had a real long-lasting negative impact on my mental health as well. Had I known that it was just human nature to get pimples, I think I'd probably have a bit more self-confidence, self-esteem in myself. Even now, I left school ages ago, but I guess it does. It has that impact, and what you're doing is it's almost like an intervention in a way. So it's like, no, you don't. You're not alone, and everyone has this at some point. So let's
It's
talk
trying
about it.
to really like rewrite society, which is a big thing to say. But what I mean is, it's like, even in movies I've seen about, teenagers and stuff, it's always been like, oh, the nerdy, or like whatever kid with the glasses has to have spots. Like, it's been a character that you've kind of grown up with in your head, that the media and stuff put into what you think it like should be. And I was just like, well, no, because that isn't completely true. So why are you going to go put us into a corner and say, no, 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 you have to be this specific thing if you have acne, it's really bad. And I was just like, no, I kind of want to change societal's view on it, because it makes people feel worse, especially as well. So yeah, it was nice to kind of like switch it up a bit and be like, nope.
And I think this is a lovely segue to question number 3, talking about the challenges that this condition has on people. Question number 3, what were some of the challenges that you faced, Lou, as a model? And how did those experiences shape you?
So I think that's the other thing about why I really wanted to speak about it, is it affected my mental health so much, to the point where like I wouldn't go out. Like, I was at university as well, didn't want to go to school, didn't want to go to class, even if I like caked myself with makeup. I didn't want to go to like birthday parties, events that my friends, invite me to, dinners, everything. I literally just wanted to isolate myself, which then obviously made me feel worse because I wasn't seeing people. And my friends obviously kind of like didn't really understand. I also got to points which was really bad, that I wouldn't eat. If like I was in the house and my boyfriend at the time was like out, I wouldn't go to the shops, even though it was literally around the corner. I would argue with my head, being like, well, why would you put makeup on to go 5 minutes to the shop to come back? But then you can't go without makeup, because someone could see you within those 5 minutes and think about your skin. So then you get in this weird hole and go, oh, I won't go until he comes back. Oh, he could go. And that's so damaging and so bad that I literally just wanted to isolate myself from the world, from, not furthering myself. I was also told by people, like, oh, you won't get a career if you have acne. You won't get opportunities, which is so damaging. Again, I said I was at university, especially at the time, and it's like, what? So my skin versus like my brain, or how I think of me as a person, is going to stop me from achieving things. I basically cried every single day. I was like always in pain as well with my skin. I would do whole things. I'd like wake up in the morning and count my spots and see if there was like any new ones from the day before. So it's really damaging on your whole mental health, your image of everything. And unfortunately, especially back then, this makes me feel old, but I was, I'm 27 now, and the industry within modeling has changed, I say, since like 10 years ago when I was. But back then, it was so about a false image that even I didn't look like my pictures. As I said, I started modeling really young at 10. And when I was 10, I had great porcelain skin, but they still edited me all the way through my teens. And that's really damaging because, again, you think, oh, so I'm not good enough. They need to change my image. And I remember showing some of my friends like my modeling pictures when they come out in a magazine or something. And they'd be like, oh, that doesn't look like you. Because they had filtered my skin, they'd photoshopped me, they'd like made my eyes bigger, something. And it's so bad because they're selling a wrong image already. And then you're looking at yourself and then you're like, oh, should I look like that? But I don't look like that. But should I? And it is a sad sort of like realization. And that's another reason why I wanted to sort of speak about how I lost my modeling career because of my skin. And I was told by an agency to go away, clear my skin in a week and come back. I was 16 years old. I didn't know what to do with acne. No one was helping me. And I'm being told, you need to go and clear it in a week or else you lose your career. And I lost my career because you can't clear acne. So the miseducation, the damagingness, it affects your mental health so much. And people who aren't even, models, everyone who suffers with their skin.
This modeling agency that told you to go and sort your skin out. Have they seen you? Have you heard from them? Do they know what you're up to now?
No, but I did.
No.
I did a nice 360, which I wanted to do. Is I always sort of wanted to be back in the industry, but to an extent, I think I did it in a better way. So I was actually one of the first models with acne to do a skincare campaign. So I was the face of Augustina Spada when it first launched, which was really amazing. We did a whole campaign and I was completely makeup free and I was shot by an amazing photographer who shot for Vogue. And I sat there with my cystic acne and I was on loads of their advertising. And then I also was in a high fashion magazine, which I always wanted to do. So I was in Love magazine, shot by David Sims, who is an amazing photographer who actually shot Kate Moss. And I was there completely makeup free, published in a high fashion magazine, completely makeup free with my acne on show.
And how did it feel, that initial first shoot where you could be completely yourself and no one was telling you what to do with your appearance? How did that feel?
Honestly, so scared. It was so weird. Like, I kept being like, oh, should I go to makeup? Like, oh, what's going to happen? But it was obviously such an amazing feeling. I think it made me feel even more confident. And it was so amazing to be able to sit in that room with all these people, I said, in this old environment where there's literally cameras everywhere. And I don't have to like hide me.
To bring it back a bit closer to home, and just let me know if this is a little bit too personal, but I'm just really curious to hear about your relationship with your family going through this roller coaster, this journey of discovery. Was it up to you to instigate the conversation about your skin, or were they on board right from the very beginning?
I think the sad thing to an extent of like my parents, when they obviously grew up, the way acne was spoken about then was like, here is a ridiculously like strong acidic product, whatever, put it on your face and try and burn it off. They had no education on it. And they also, which I think a lot of people still love to say, and again, because I've spoken to so many people, I know what's like the myths and what's not. Everyone used to go, oh, you'll grow out of it. And my family used to love to say, it's fine, you'll grow out of it. And I was like still waiting to grow out of it. So it was nothing obviously against them, but that's what I mean. It's just, there was not so much education. People don't really learn about it unless they have it. So they didn't really know what to say. And I remember going to the doctor like with my mum and he gave somewhat advice. And then my mum didn't want me to go on certain medications that he said. And I wanted to, but she didn't want me to. So it was a hard one. But then I think the more and more, obviously I did what I did, the more education I got, the more they saw into it, the more they suddenly also saw into this world, and they were like, oh, okay, I think we get it a bit more now. But I wish we learned more about it at school, or how to have a skincare routine, or like how to look after your skin, anything. You just don't get taught about it, especially, parents years ago. Skincare is not at all what you get now. Everybody is like, posting about skincare and things online, so you technically find everything at your fingertips. Whereas, they just took some time, but they got there in the end.
I'm all here for, and I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to photosynthesis and using a Bunsen burner. Have I ever used it since? No,
I know, right?
but I could have really done with some skincare. Yeah.
If they started to tell us about like hyaluronic acid ingredients, like how you could achieve hydration, I don't know, glowy skin, things like this, I think I would have actually sat and gone, oh, that's actually really interesting. But they don't teach you, as you say. You just know the other stuff that we don't really use every day. I think people would be really interested in it. I think all students actually find it knowledgeable, because as I said, now everybody's like into skincare. They see it on TikTok and things like this.
Maybe you can be the teacher. Maybe they'll hire you out as a contractor. You can come in and do a lesson on skincare, or at least make the lessons.
I've always wanted to go into school to be able to talk to students like face on, so that they can see someone else has gone through it and to ask questions, because as I said, not everyone kind of knows, and I've been very lucky with doing it. The people I've been able to speak to, dermatologists, skin specialists, I always ask so many questions when I'm around people, so I've been able to gain knowledge that I wouldn't, which is very interesting.
Question 4: you've been open about your mental health struggles. We've already talked about it, associated with skin issues. What are some of the coping strategies that have helped you personally, Lou, to maintain and just cope with your mental health on this journey?
It's such a hard one because it's so personal, and I really do relate to people who said I've gone through my own whole mixture of different things with mental health, and sometimes when you're in it, you sometimes hate what people say, but that's why I created what I did, especially if you're suffering with your skin. You can feel very, very, very alone. And as I said, if there's no people like around you initially, like friends, family and stuff, that get it, you feel even more alone. And I know social media can be, a damaging somewhat place to all these perfect images. But there are pockets, like my pocket of #BreatheAPimple as well, where it's just very real people being very raw. And it's actually a nice way for you to try and find other people like yourself. And it does help your mental health because you don't feel alone. I think that's one of the biggest things, when you're going through something, you feel alone. So to know that someone else is going through the same thing, and they are sharing tips and things like that. And our community in general, we've always been quite nice that people reach out to us, we answer questions, etc. And it can sometimes be a nicer outlet than, going to your parents and stuff who may not say what you want or things. So, and a lot of the times you're people your same age. So I always do say, like, try and reach out to a community of whatever you're like trying to find, because the internet is pretty amazing nowadays, the sort of people you can reach and find online who are spreading the most positive messages. So go to the nice side of social media, because it does exist. And then it's just like a weird step by step. Like, a lot of people said to me, how did you gain the confidence to go outside with your skin? It's hard, but it is like a little process. Like I said to people, it's like the first time I remember I went outside with no makeup on, I literally just walked up and down the street, which sounds really silly to a lot of people, but that was like a big thing for me because I'm in public. I could see people. And then I realized, like, oh, no one actually cares that much. And then like the next step would be like go to a coffee shop and like order a coffee or something, makeup free. Go to the supermarket. Like, it sounds really silly, but if you do these little step by steps, and the more you do them, the more you feel comfortable and confident. Also realize, especially nowadays, people are actually way more in their own world, especially on their phones, like walking like this. They do not notice you.
Moving on to question number 5, how do you define beauty?
That is a hard question. I think beauty is in the small things. And it's like there's no one thing, and I think that's what makes beauty, and that's where I really like silly answer to it. But we focus so much on what we like think beauty should be or should look like, or what, you know, we're fed by the media, or what's on trend. It changes like constantly. And I think that beauty should be like what you think it is. There is no like one fits all, and that's kind of the beauty of it. There's no such thing as you have to look like this, and if you don't look like this, you aren't beauty. Beauty is literally all around us in all different ways, and I guess on your mood, how you're feeling, where you are. And for me, I always think the small things in life are the most beautiful. You have to focus on those, and that's how I see beauty in the world.
We've got one more question. By the way,
Great.
this has been a lovely chat. I've loved this. So thank you so much. And it's over to now a young person. So we asked young people of the mix what they would like to ask you, Lou, and we had an abundance of questions, and I could only pick one, unfortunately. And I think the question is very relevant, and hopefully it's going to resonate with a lot of people out there. And it is simply question 6. How do I feel confident in my skin right now?
As I said, I think it's about understanding how special you are as a person. That again sounds easy, but you should feel confident in who you are and just not compare yourself to people. And I say, I know it's so hard, but once you just kind of like focus on like the great things that you can do, like everyone has definitely, good things they can do. And it's so sad that it's always sometimes like, how do I feel confident to do my image? It's not always just about image that makes a person. Like I always say to my friends sometimes if we're having one of those days, I'm like, right, we need to say 4 things we like about each other. And they can never be things about like the way you look. It will be like, oh, I love like who so-and-so is like the funniest, or one of my friends is like amazing at cooking. It sounds really silly, but those things are what makes you, and you just should embrace all the good things about yourself, and that helps you with your confidence to push you to the next stage and have faith in yourself versus just thinking, okay, I have to look a certain type of way to be confident. Confidence literally comes within, because at the end of the day, trust me, we're all going to get old and all of our looks are going to completely change, but what stays with you is like you as a person. So focus on that, who you are, and like being a good person, fun person, all these different things, versus, oh, I need to be like this sort of way to look a certain way. That's how I think you should do.
I think the gist I'm getting, and something I'm wholly behind as well, is that real, authentic beauty is timeless.
Yeah, 100%. And as I said, it's like you realize the things that help you in life is like spending time with people, and you don't focus on how your friend looks, you focus on how they make you feel, or your family and things like that. So that's a way to feel confident, is be confident in your choices, in your sort of person that you are, what you want to achieve. We're so obsessed with image, and it will go away. Like I think I prefer to go speak to like, the most smartest person in the room, because you're going to be so interesting, or the funniest person in the room who's going to make me laugh. That's what I want to do versus somebody who what you claim is the prettiest. Yes, they obviously have all those things as well, but I just want to be fueled in a much more way of enjoying myself versus what just staring at somebody. It doesn't matter.
I think that is a lovely note to end on. So I'm going to say no more. But thank you, Lou. That was an amazing chat.
No, thank you. You must get to hit all the different things. So now you have maybe some knowledge on skin and acne and everything. But thank you so much for having me.
I really do. I have an abundance of knowledge now. As I said, I think we need to introduce you to schools across the UK.
Yes. No, thank you so much.
Take care.